Alright, guys, let's go! It's the quarterfinals of the ESL North American Weekly. We've already got a big clash between Dark in the top right and the player who's blocking his expansion. That's right, Creator in the bottom left of the map. Creator just dismantled a noob caster by the name of Pig in a pretty confident 2-0 TVP matchup. But this matchup I'm very excited for because Dark just throws crazy all-ins all the time. He has a tendency of beating Creator even though their series are usually close. But Creator, when things go right, man, his PvZ is so fascinating. Like, he actually is the one player who still builds a Void Ray in this matchup. I would expect that style from him because I think he almost always does it on big maps like Altitude. Where he goes triple Oracle with a Void Ray. And he gets a pretty early Robo, and he's got this just like very high-tech army, a few sentries, a couple of mortals, and then goes into like charge and storm and all that sort of stuff off of the back of that triple Oracle and that Void Ray. And it's really interesting to see how he does it. It's going to go Nexus here, 20 supply, Cybercore 21, pretty standard stuff. And seal the wall with a third structure a bit later on. And Dark actually having his minerals denied a fair bit, losing the micro battle in the main base. I always think of Dark as one of the players who's the most susceptible to this sort of harassment. The problem is he does not care about being behind. Dark is so good at being behind because he always practices from behind. His build orders are suboptimal. His execution of his early game is questionable for the most part. But his micro is absolutely insane. His mechanical ability to bounce back and come back with spellcasters and amazing engagements and micro. Not to mention such a wide diversity of Hail Mary all-ins that he can pull out at any moment. You never know when it's coming. And that's what makes him so scary in this matchup. Creator, on the other hand, is going to be looking for consistency. He wants to calm things down. He's going Stargate. Is chronoing 2 Adepts out? That's interesting. Not something you see every day. Now, the Overlord saw at least one chrono. His Lings come and he sees the second chrono. That Adept goes out, does save the probe from those 2 Zerglings, but look at this, losing a bit of mining time. Creator doubles back there, trying to get to this Adept. And the Adept does save it. Probes go back to mining, but that means there's still one Zergling loose in the base. I don't think he wants to send the Adept home to deal with this, but he feels like he has to. Handling things as well as you can, considering this is very frustrating, but Dark is already building 6 more Zerglings, which is actually unnecessary. So this is where I would point out, if you do manage to sneak Lings in and pin an Adept at home, you don't have to deal with the double Adept pressure, so you can skimp on Zerglings and improve your drone count. Instead, though, Dark playing ultra safe. He goes 8 Zerglings and 3 Queens. And he gets a Spore Crawler in the main nice and early as well. So, I mean, he's playing super safe. I gotta say, it's okay, but definitely one where I think he could have pushed his workers just a little bit further than that. The Adepts are now coming across the map here. Let's look at Dark's vision. Dark has an Overlord out front. This Overlord here. So he's got kind of early warning of Adepts, but he doesn't have anything on the edges. He's got his other Overlords just kind of chilling around his base, and that means this Oracle will get in unspotted, and it's going to grab a drone, but does take a little bit of damage. Nice positioning on the Queen to get an extra few hits. Diminishes the Oracle's ability to get future damage. And it is the Void Ray style. Heck yeah, I love this build. As it gets to the late game, Creator will have 2 squads of units trying to control the watchtowers, trying to kind of get some map control. The scary thing is whenever those little squads of like 2 High Templar, 2 Archons, 2 Immortals, and a few Zealots get jumped on. I've often seen him look like he's in a good position, but he splits his army up a little bit too much, and if he loses any of those small chunks, things can go awry. Thank you for the 100 biddies, Odin says. It was nice of you to let Creator win, so we get to see Dark versus Creator. I think it's a more interesting matchup than your TVZ versus Dark. Yeah, I agree, guys. What can I say? Good thing I let him win. That's what I did. Twitch chat's always got my back. Robo's on the way there. We've got the 3rd Nexus up. And extra gateway goes down. So Robo 3rd gateway. Now, why does he have so much production? This is because it keeps him very safe, especially against a guy like Dark. He never knows if there's going to be a giant Ling Bane Flood. Queen Roachwalk, and he likes to get that little bit of extra production. The problem is it delays his Twilight and Forge a long time because he's building 3 Oracles, a Void Ray, and a Robo and a 3rd Gateway before even thinking about that. The worker count is in the advantage for Dark, who's also taking a quick 4th, building a Roach Warren for safety only now at 5 minutes 20. He's trying to play Massling Bane with the +1 melee. He has a pretty decently timed lair. This feels like Dark is just Basically, he's like, oh, Creator, you've been doing this build for a while. You're so defensive with it. I don't really need to worry about anything except Oracle harass. And guess what? The Oracles have killed 2 drones. The Void Ray has killed 1 Overlord. That's all he's done. That's not a lot of damage for the investment that Creator's put into this. Lings are going to run in. Adepts and an Oracle do defend. Void Ray gets pushed back by these 2 Queens. Great defense. But actually, these Oracles could dive. If you get those Queens off creep where they can't transfuse, he could have dived with the Oracles, killed the high energy Queen. I guess they both have high energy. They both have enough for a transfuse. But yeah, you could basically gun them down with a Void Ray and 2 Oracles. He's going to look to do a poke with 2 Adepts, or 3 Adepts, 3 Sentries, and an Immortal. Adept is solid in the wall, going up to 4th and 5th gateway. Forge and Twilight is up. Expect charge and +1 to start any moment. There we go. You can see it in the production tab. Warp Prism as well coming on up. Void Ray still trying to harass, not finding anything. And the Oracle, one of them still set at home defending the Zergling run-bys. 66 workers for Dark. He starts to build roaches now, which I think is a little unnecessary. I do think with how greedy he was earlier, he could have continued and gone straight to 75, 80 workers, but he now starts to build more drones, and he's going to need to. 6 of them going down to this wave of Oracles. He's going to replace those pretty quickly, and a Spire going down for Dark. Dark! Looking to be very sneaky, and this is not what you want when you're going Spire, to have it immediately scouted. And Creator was already building an extra Phoenix, thinking this might be an option. Now the question is, what does Dark do? Okay, so Dark is opening up his flexibility right now. By going Infestation Pit, you could go Hive, or you could still commit to the Spire. There's sort of like a metagame where it's like, well, Dark's had his Spire scouted, surely he wouldn't still build Mutas. That would be kind of crazy because the Protoss is probably building Phoenix and a second Stargate. But you can make a call here where you basically say, well, guess what? You don't think I'm dumb enough to build Mutas when they've been scouted, because you could just prepare a hard counter. Problem, Creator is not preparing that hard counter because he knows that Zerg is so flexible. Until he scouts actual Mutas on the map, he's just building 1 Phoenix at a time, Psystorm, Charge, 4th base. He's still trying to get all of the different pieces. And look at his map control. As I said, this is a lot about map control, this style, with the Oracles, the Void Ray. He's got an Observer set up between the bases, which is crucial. 2 Corruptors start up. Oh, he spotted the Warp Prism. So he's got 2 Corruptors specifically to kill the Warp Prism. Warp Prism's going to go over there, warping a couple Zealots to claim the Watchtower. Going up to 8 gases on 74 probes is Creator. Dark is on 88 drones. A massive, massive economy for him. He's got a second Evo chamber on the way. +2 melee's almost done. Hive's almost there. So I don't think Dark overcomplicates things that often. I think he very well may just go for something like very easy to do at Hive Tech. Like, oh, I'm just massing Ravagerling Bane. And I have Adrenal Glands, and I'm going to get a fast +3 melee. And that might just be it. He could even go for Ultras as well. I doubt he will. Very rare we see that in pro play. But definitely something that's viable. In these sort of games, there's only 1 Immortal on the map. Sentries, High Templars, all kind of useless versus Ultralisks. You can see the split of the units now here. Void Ray tries to bile it, doesn't quite get it. Zealot tries to claim the Watchtower, has to back away. Bit of a dance between the players as the Stargate transition begins. A 3rd Stargate goes down for Creator, as well as a Fleet Beacon almost finished. +3 melee, +1 range, Adrenal Glands, Bane Speed's almost done, and the Greatest Spire starts. So Dark is thinking about a wave of Broodlords. I don't think he's going to get there in time, though. So I think he's kind of got to get some work done. This 5th base is looking very exposed. Yes, Storms are good. Yes, an Archon's good. But the scary thing for Creator is he has to manage so many different things right now. I don't know where these drones are dying, guys. Oh, 2 Adepts. Nice. 5 drones go down for 2 Adepts. So what I'm talking about, guys, is let's look at Creator's control groups. He's got Nexi on 1. He's got this army on the left on 2. This army in the middle on 3. And then he's got 3 Oracles on a control group. He's also got an Observer key. He doesn't have a Warp Prism key because he just doesn't have enough control groups. Like he's got such a split of so many different units. And it does make it hard to counter. It also makes it very hard to micro and manage your defenses. Create a great Storms. The cannon battery position there is pretty much unassailable, man. You don't want to go in there. Good choice by Dark to back off. There's only 4 High Templar on the map. That's one thing that has me a little worried, is if you whiff a few of your Psystorms or you lose a few High Templar, you don't have many to back it up. These Storms can easily push back these Zerglings. There we go. Brutal storms on the Zerglings, but they are cheap units. Ooh, pushes in there. Looks like he might have killed a High Templar, I think. Nope. Still units lost up, looking amazing for Creator, but Dark has had a big income, and he is going to go for a round of Broodlords. There's already carriers on the field. Arguably, Tempests are better in this scenario, though. Oh, let's go to Creator's camera, guys. He's seeing Broodlords right now, but he's not paying attention. He's not paying attention. He just saw Broodlords morphing, but the Queen's killed him. He was not watching. Okay. Ooh, he's going to go Plasma Shields now after +2 attack. Good call. It's going to make the Archons a lot tankier. Thing is, guys, there's nothing that shoots up. There's no Corruptors. I think Dark is hitting way too late. I think if you want to do a Broodlord timing in this sort of very defensive macro game where you're both rushing to late game, you need to hit before 11 minutes, I would say. And he's not going to hit till 12 minutes plus. Look at how slow these Broodlords are to get across the map. The Observer's also going to see it. Let's go to Creator's Vision again, because for me, I really wonder if there's any reaction. He's already adding Blink, +2 air weapons, Plasma Shields. He now sees the Broodlords, and you're going to see him, I would imagine, gather most of his army together. But he's actually keeping it split. I think he's just like, whatever, I'll just bring my carriers forward and smash. Dark's in trouble right now, dude. His Broodlords are committed on the other side of the map. He's got no anti-air to defend him. Psystorm does bruise up those Broodlords for a full 80 damage. That was an entire storm that those Broodlords ate. And it's time for those carriers to go forward. If they just run forward, they can focus the Broodlords down. Creator's a little too slow to dive. He's playing overly cautious. He doesn't know how many Corruptors are out there. He's afraid. For some reason, his ground army is engaging the Broodlords while his air hangs back. Big mistake for Creator. He lets Dark, who made a terrible misstep on his army composition, really get away from that. So Dark just got away with a big mistake on his part, going across with a delayed Broodlord timing. Creator is not showing any killer instinct in this game, and I understand. I mean, he's been relatively, not blind, but limited information being so defensive. And he's very, very cautious by nature. 9 Corruptors are out. He's about to hit 11 Corruptors. Sorry, carriers is what I meant. 11 carriers versus just 9 Corruptors is obviously very good for Protoss. There's also only +1 air weapons for Zerg. +2's just started, whereas +2 air weapons is about to finish for Protoss. So I would argue Creator has got a much better army right now. 4 Queens aren't really going to complement the anti-air so well. He's trying to make Spore Crawlers is Dark. It's a little bit too late. Creator doesn't know this, though. For Creator, you know, Zerg is so scary. It's so hard to tell when a Zerg player what tools they have, what's waiting in the fog of war you don't know about. He sees Corruptors. It's not that many Corruptors. If Creator makes the read, he should know that he can just commit into this. Now, there is a lot of Banelings in there. If the Banelings clear the High Templar, Banelings and the Ravagers clear the Archons, carriers on their own suck versus Corruptors. He can still win because he's got, obviously, like, way more supply. He's got like 70 supply of carriers versus about 30 supply of Corruptors. There we go. First carrier gets caught out, goes down. Creator's giving Dark time to adjust his composition. And that's very important because Dark was in a vulnerable spot. But now it's going to go to Mega Late Game, and second Cybercore starts up upgrades. He's got... Actually, is that the second Cybercore? No, he's only got 1, but he's starting air upgrades, armor upgrades before going for +3 air weapons. I guess maybe he just queued it up ahead of time. 4th and 5th Stargate, as well as a Robo Bay. Robo Bay is very good for blowing up infestors. Just a few disruptors mixed in. It's an important tool to have available to punish a Zerg that goes into heavy Queen Infestor. Second Cybercore goes down. We've also got +2 Plasma Shields well underway. Second Forge. Creator's happy to just play defensive for now. We'll see if it works out. Archon drop in the top, starts picking off a few drones. Banelings are going to roll in, and they take out a bunch of cannons and batteries, but not much else. That's what we call an appallingly bad trade, cost for cost. However, he does get the Prism and 2 Archons, which is a good trade for Dark, and units lost tab, not too bad for him. Still a lot of creep out the front. This is giving him a lot of vision. It's giving Dark a big advantage information-wise of where the armies are and when. Still no Vipers or Infestors on the field. The first Viper is only now building. Dark has been spellcasterless for a bit too long in this game, and he could get punished. He's also only got 69 workers, which is why Creator's bank is building up a bit faster than his. Lovely Zealot run by on the right side of the map. There's only a few Roaches and Ravagers left as the mobile units in this game. He's going to try and send a few Roaches and Queens to defend, but the Oracles might even be able to dive on that. Zealot's already cleaning up 6 drones, forcing Dark to micro his heart out with those 5 Roaches. Not the best force to defend this. Transfuses will come down, keep those Roaches alive though. And yes, the Oracles are going to dive. A bit of a brave move though. The Zealot's trying to focus the Queens down with those Oracles. As Creator said, whatever. Let's see. I think the Queen wins this fight. It looks like the Oracle is already a little bit too damaged. Throwing those away, interesting. I think having one Oracle alive is always useful. Dark's looking for a catch. He's looking for a catch on these carriers. He eats a big Psy Storm, a few Archon shots, and I think that was 2-3 Corruptors, maybe 4 going down, as well as the rest getting bruised. All he did was damage a carrier. So nice micro by Creator, who's now coming in with Dark Templar. If he clicks on the Spore Crawler, then those Dark Templar are going to have a little bit of free reign. They can snipe this base on the right side. Dark is only on 5 bases, and Dark is still not building Infestors. He still only has 1 Viper. I mean, this is... When you look at Sterile at this point in the game, he's getting all the tools you need to basically outplay Protoss in the late game. Vipers, Infestors, Spore Crawlers everywhere. He's always replacing Creep Spread. What we're seeing here is Dark, and Dark he's really good with his scrappy micro. He's got Ravages even in the end game, and he's getting value out of them. But he just doesn't have the tools that he should have. He's not respreading creep in the middle. He's lost all but 1 queen, and he's not using that queen to respread creep. And he's not able to establish control over that 5th base. I mean, Zealots could just keep flooding in there to deny that. But it's actually Creator's carriers that will be doing the work. Now, on the other hand, Creator's a bit high on the probes. So you could argue there's a problem. And that is, you're going to be down 20 army supply as a result of that. There's now 33 Corruptors on the field. And if they ever get rid of those 3 High Templar and those 3 Archons, and you can fight just Corruptors versus carriers, very bad for the carriers, very good for the Corruptors. Big fleet of Corruptors coming in right now. Ooh-wee, 33 Corruptors. There's now 3 Vipers on the field. A few Parasitic Bombs could be good. One move we often see is Parasitic Bomb on the carriers, and you fly the Corruptors right on top. So the Interceptors, while attacking the Corruptors, are also getting killed by the Parasitic Bomb. That's something which you can see. However, Archons are what scares you away from doing that, because you don't want to sit your Corruptors over Archons, right? So usually the answer is, okay, if you can get rid of those Archons, those Storms, you can just rip the army apart. Until then, you're just looking to maybe abduct one carrier that's sticking out, pull it in, kill it, run away. Abduct a unit, kill it, run away. There's only 19 Spore Crawlers in this game right now, as opposed to 22 cannons and 16 shield batteries. Creator's doing a very good job of expanding forward. I'd like to see him start taking these gold bases potentially. Oh, Broodlords. There we go. Nice snipe on one of the Archons. Good tag with the Oracle. Got to tag the Corruptor Viper though as well, potentially. High Templar were looking for a Storm. They didn't get it. The armor upgrades are all there for Protoss. Look at that. Only thing he's missing is ground armor, which he's now going to start adding in. Does help out, you know, High Templar, Immortals, these sort of things. Dark Templar getting cleaned up on the left of the map. Units lost tab is slightly ahead for Creator. I would normally say Protoss is favored. If you look at the compositions, Zerg composition feels like it's a little bit like spilt milk right now. Oh, hello. Hello, is that me? Rocklets and Beermorph. Wouldn't it be funny if Rocklets has actually been commentating in Spanish this whole time? I thought it was Brazilian. I didn't know he lived in the US. I just assumed he lived in Brazil. I can never tell the difference between the two. Anyway, oh, game's resumed. Let's go, go, go. Sorry, guys. Getting excited trying to figure out where the other casters are from. Broodlords are going to come in. Creator's trying to siege this position. It's Dark that's doing the sieging from that high ground on the right side. Cannon's going down. Watch out for those Corruptors and Vipers. When the Revelation wears off, that's when they're going to come in. I'm going to go to Creator's Vision just so you guys get an idea of what this looks like. Ooh. Oh my god. Oh, here we go! Big fight going on. He's going for that dive on top of the carriers with the Parasitic Bomb. Oh my god, those Corruptors ruining those carriers, but at the same time, a lot of them do fall to a few Void Rays and a bit of Archon Splash. The battery overcharge in the back really helped out there. And who the hell won that fight? Units Lost tab tells us the story, guys, because of course the players are remaxing pretty quickly. Creator's bank is there. He's remaxing instantly. And Dark lost 6,000 more resources there. It looks like the Archons and the Storm were just good enough, especially attacking into battery overcharge. The couple of Void Rays adding their anti-armored damage output just a bit too much. And Creator, I told you this style is really cool to watch, guys. He just controls the map with those little squads of Void Rays and Oracles and has a fantastic late game. All right, guys. Well, he kind of got smashed in that macro game. Just unwilling to go to the Spellcaster Turtle late game. It's kind of tough on altitude because the bases are so spread out. Dragon Kaiser Gaming's Dark in the top right. Bottom left, Team Envy's Creator. Actually, sorry, Creator. Team Envy isn't really a thing anymore, is it? Is it? Just gonna check. He's actually on Abydos right now. Yeah, I thought so. I was like, wait a second, that's not right. But obviously sometimes they're on an account that has like an old team name or an old clan or something like that. I think Team Envy is kind of like a clan for these guys as well, but he is representing Team Abydos, and a really good game to start things off. And that's interesting, guys. That's a fake unit. That's what that is. Pretends to build a Zealot and then cancels it and starts a Stalker. He was just waiting to have enough money to start the Stalker, but he wanted to show a unit in production just so if Dark looks over, he doesn't see the gap in unit production. Doesn't want to give any information away for free until the last possible moment. And look at that, Adept. Oh, I think he just let that out of range. No, he gets it. Very good cleanup. Not letting the Lings into his base this time around. Dark, of course, being forced to take the third base once again as his natural, going for Ling speed. I do wonder, what time does Dark normally put back on gas? I'd imagine close to 4 minutes. Because, of course, you need a lot of minerals to defend the early Adept Oracle pressure. Queens, Zerglings, not to mention Spore Crawlers, and drones that are pretty much always going to go down to those Oracles. I think Dark had a pretty fantastic early game in defense last time around. He just didn't... He could have droned a bit harder. That's the one thing. I think if you know Creator's playing that style, once you see the Void Ray, Creator doesn't really have any timing attacks he does behind it. I guess occasionally he'll whip out like a 7-gate, right? Where he just doesn't get the Twilight and the Forge at all, and it's a 3-base, like, big old gateway timing. He's just like, here's 8 gates of unupgraded gateway units with an Immortal, a Warp Prism, and those Oracles and Void Ray from the early game. It's purely for punishing players when they start metagaming him, though. If he thinks his opponents are like, oh, you just turtle and defend all game, and they start playing Mega Greedy, that's when he does it. But if Dark's happy to take that risk, he doesn't need to pump roaches on 66 drones. In that last game, he built 11 roaches on 66 drones. If he went straight to 70 drones, 75, then made units, I would have been really impressed with his build. I think he would have got even further ahead. But he's got to be able to do something with it. Now, something he could have gone for in that last game, like I said, is like he could have gone for Mass Ultra Corruptor. If your opponent's going late game Sky Toss, you can kind of swarm in with that and overwhelm. I think the problem is because there's so much cannon battery plus Archons, and there is that one Immortal from the early game, you don't know if there's going to be a second and third Immortal. And the Archons, the cannons, the batteries, very hard to engage with Ultra Corruptor. So maybe Dark is just going to try and do something earlier in the game. That's usually the solution. And for Dark, it's usually how do I cheese my opponent. That's a pretty quick lair. 4 minutes 50 after melee upgrade. I think Dark's going to play Hydraling Bane. Yeah, he's going 3 gases pretty quickly. I think he's going to try and play Hydraling Bane with this fast melee upgrade. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Creator's going a much quicker Forged Twilight. This looks like a more classic style. Just a Blink Stalker opening? Wow. Yeah, it looks like Creator's just going triple Oracle into Blink. Here we go, guys. Oracle's going to go for their first big dive. Only one Queen in position, and the Spore and the Queen target the stronger Oracle. So it does survive. 3 drones going down, but the Oracles aren't going to be able to do that too many times. They're both heavily wounded. And one of them always stationed at the third base for defense. It's actually charge +1, guys. He's going to be playing Immortal Storm, and indeed it is Hydra Bane for Dark, yeah. Uh-oh, sentries in the open. Oh, no. Oh, he's going to lose both sentries. That's really bad for Creator. Now it becomes very difficult to get the fast 4th base. He wanted to move over and start that 4th base right now. Now that becomes a little awkward. And if you don't establish that 4th soon, when the Hydras arrive, if you don't already have cannons and batteries up at that 4th, it gets very scary. Also, he doesn't know it's Hydra Bane, which is a big problem for Creator. Once you know that, you want to go Psystorm very early and basically just start massing units. But Creator's actually going to go for a Robobait. He's thinking about playing Zealot Archon Disruptor. I don't think that's optimal here. I actually think Psystorm is better defensively than this, because you're only... The problem is, you just... I don't know. I feel like you're not going to be able to get enough Disruptors out to defend the Hydra Bane. I could be wrong on this. He's going to do a bit of a Zealot Archon pressure. What do we got to defend this? There's going to be 5 Hydras and 36 Zerglings. I think should be enough, especially with 5 Queens pulling. You guys know how Dark is. He pulls every Queen the moment he sees a big scary attack coming his way. And it is just a bit of a pokey poke. Creator goes in, Creator pulls out. Finally seeing the Hydra Den. Let's go to Creator's camera. He's building an extra cannon and a battery at his 3rd wall off. He's warping in more High Templar, more batteries, more cannons. He's looking at that army. You can tell he's a little bit worried. Because Hydra Bane is such an explosive army. It does so much damage. It has a huge falling off point. If he can just stop it from doing damage to him and getting through. But I also would think you really want to try and hide some Zealots to do backstabs. Because as those Banelings crash in, your Zealots aren't particularly useful. On the other hand, he's already got a Disruptor out. 2nd one on the way. I may have been overestimating the power of Hydra Bane. I mean, we're starting to see just how long it takes to get that Hydra Bane upgrades, right? He's got Groove Spines. Muscular Augment's still 40 seconds away. Baneling speed as well. So it's about 40 seconds until Dark can do his earliest attack. Let's go back to everyone's camera. Dark's on 78 workers, so it looks like he wants to commit to it. Prism's coming in. Oh, Creator's going to lose it. Oh, but he's watching. Sexy. Very good play by Creator. He's now starting to spread a few, observers, stasis traps, and zealots further forward. Trying to get a little bit of information about what's going on in this game. +2 melee is done. +1 range starts up on that single Evo. Dark is ready to go. He's got Banelings, Hydras, Lings, and Banes all over the map. They're going to start marching forwards. Going to start breaking this wall down. And look at that. There's already gateways building in the main. So that will keep him up at 7 gateways. It's not that many, but it's okay. Look at that wall of cannon battery. My god. I don't really want to fight into that, do you? Archons are nearby. Those Zerglings are going to have to back off. And look at that. Oh my god, he comes with a nice, cute Disruptor shot. Trying to push those Hydras away. And more gateways being built in the main. He's going to try to get back up to 9 or 10 gateways. Banelings do roll through some of those cannons. The 3 of them and a shield battery still alive. No doubt he'll repower those in a moment. Seeing Hydra in the bottom. Dark's not finding anything. Dark is not finding anything. Hydra Bane is not really a modern composition in the matchup. And it's because players are so good at scouting. And if they identify it's coming, they just turtle up and they say, hey, guess what? The longer this goes, the worse your composition gets, man. Oh, here we go. Look at those Archons and even a Disruptor on that natural ramp as well. Oh my god, these fights are very good for Creator. Units lost tab is actually pretty even. Dark's got to get his supply down, though. There's even a Colossus in here. Oh, no. Colossus, very good versus Lings and Hydras. He's going to make 34 Banes. Dark's just going for broke. There's not many Archons up here. So I do think you'll find the worker line, but it's not a stacked worker line. There's only 10 on minerals right now. And looks like the cannon battery position will get broken, though. All the Archon's going to come up here. You can tell it's a bit of an F2 for Creator. Oh my god, a whopping Disruptor shot on the Banelings. The Colossus is still alive. And the Nexus survives as well. He does lose 17 workers. Was that good enough for Dark? And the units lost tab tells us that he is losing in the resource battle, but having killed a lot of the mining on that, as well as those probes, it suddenly feels a-okay for Dark. And I think it comes down to the fact that Archon Zealot Disruptor is not that good at skirmishing with your opponent. The Colossus are helping, because you can't really pick it in with Hydra Bane anymore. But guess what? Hive's on the way. He's going to build a Roach Horn, just because Hydraling is so fragile versus the Archon Colossus. And Dark has a huge conundrum, which is, well, if he is droning up and playing a longer game, how does he deal with this army when it comes? Because Creator he's got 9 Archons. It's about to be 10 Archons, 2 Colossus. If he makes Viagra and a 3rd Colossus, I don't think you stop that attack. Not with Hydraling Bane. Even with Roaches coming out, that won't do it. You'll need Lurkers. Lurkers is a good idea. Lurkers outrange both Colossus and Archons, so you can gun them down from afar. And right now, the problem is the Colossus and Disruptors outrange the whole Zerg army. The Archons are a big meaty sponge that sits up front. Banelings in the mineral line, they get 4 probes. Good reaction by Creator there. He's got a nice little semi-wall at the bottom, so Banelings have to take a slightly longer route into the base. 1 more gateway there would probably be a good idea. Could even full wall it with 2 more gateways and then go take this Nexus up front if he wants. Establishing a 5th base kind of difficult for Creator. We'll see how he looks to do that. Dark's taking a 6th base on the bottom. 2nd Evo chamber on the way. And we're going to see those Lurker movement upgrades coming in first. Dark's a big fan of that. Now, you might be wondering, why is Dark such a big fan of the movement upgrades, guys? It's because he likes to just run past his opponent, siege in a good position, and win the game. Now, it means he's only going to have 8 range on these lurkers, so they're not as good at dealing with all of this, but it does give him that maneuverability, and obviously he'll get both upgrades eventually. He's already queued the second one up. My god, that is a lot of Zerglings. 120 Zerglings. Relatively expendable units. And Dark's also building Spine Lurker everywhere. Wow, okay. He's trying to just become unkillable. I don't know if it matters though, because Creator is going to go +1 air weapons and carriers. This is the problem for Dark, is Creator is happy to turtle this out. Dark wants to scrap, he wants to fight. He says, come out here and fight me. And Creator is like, dude, you're a dumb barbarian. I'm a Roman. I'm gonna build a friggin' fort. We're going to build a ditch around it. We're going to fill it with spikes. We're going to man the walls. We're going to call you names. And then you're going to get impatient and attack into it. And that's great for me. And that's what's happening so far. Dark is like, shit, my composition isn't going to scale that well. I got to get in here. Even with lurkers, I still need to get something done because carriers are going to smash a lurker comp. Baneling run by comes through the middle this time around. Once again, only a couple of probes going down. Creator holds just fine. The oracles are amazing detection because observers can get shot down by the hydras, but oracles can tag those lurkers and then just back away. Oh, big rotation coming in. And good spread on the banelings. Only loses 1 or 2 to the disruptor shot. That mineral line is toast. I think he should have ran this mineral line away earlier, but actually somehow he's holding on. The Archon's on the right with the battery overcharge, making a legendary hold happen right now. And defending with just Warpins and a few Archons. He doesn't even move the rest of his army down. Wow, great discipline from Creator and an amazing hold. Still ahead 3,000 resources in the units lost. He's got 3 carriers on the map, a 4th, 5th, and a mothership on the way. Creator is playing Turtle Defense Simulator, and Dark is just trying desperately to kill him. But look at that. The Lurkers are going to dive. Archon and Oracle Disruptor cleans it up. Only 5 more probes going down. The worker count's getting a little low for Creator, but his army is so big it might not matter. Oh, Dark actually kills a few of those Archons right after the recall and then gets out of it. That was really well done, but Dark's still just building Hydraling Viper. And there's carriers on the field. I mean, this is the ghetto response to this, you know. This is not even ghetto. I don't know, it's like the... Basically, it's the super duper budget version. This is, you know, when your military gives you pointy sticks to deal with the opponent's armor that's rolling towards your position, and you're like, really? I mean, we're not even getting handguns. It's not good. Hydras, as the carrier count hits like 7, which it's about to. 2 more carriers are about to come out. 3 Stargates going, man. Then, yeah, things get very difficult. A bit of a supply block for Creator, and he is still only on 4 bases. The danger for Creator is 1 bad fight, and maybe abducts on the carriers, like, right? If he just abducts 3 carriers into the Hydras, Creator can't really afford to replace that. He does not have a 5th base. His mining is getting less and less as his bases run out. Big links around on the Archons. 3 of them go down. The Lings are also now in the mineral line. Dark is really desperately trying to catch his opponent out of position and get big damage, but he can't stay there too long. He's got to get out. Gets a few probes, gets in, gets out. Keeping Creator small economically. But does it matter? That is a big army. +2 air weapons isn't there. It's just going to be +1 versus +2 on the Hydras. No armor on those Hydras. Not many Spore Crawlers, not many Queens. 17 Hydras versus 7 carriers. The carriers should win that fight. We'll see what magic he can pull off with the Vipers. Dark coming forward. Lurkers stumble into this position. Abduct on the Mama. But Mama's a tanky lass. She's got 700 combined hit points. The second Abduct does go down. She gets taken out by the Hydras and the Spores there. Creator's going to try to back off. His army's in disarray. He's got to be careful, mate. Abduct on the Colossus. He's going to have to do a second one if he wants to finish it. Not able to get it. Gets one of the carriers. Once again, not able to complete, though. That's the problem with those short-range Hydras that are trying to dance away from the Disruptor shots and the Colossus beams. And without a Corruptor transition on the way or anything like that, it's very tough. I do feel like the solution Dark could have to this is get a lot of Lurkers, a lot of Corruptors, jump on top and just try to eliminate all the Archons with the Lurkers, and the Corruptors obviously focus fire the carriers. Scary because there's, you know, Immortals and Disruptors in there as well. Jumping on top with Lurkers, not the best idea unless you catch him out of position. Creator does have recall available, but I think those probes are probably stuck there unless he recalls right now. Creator's going to go for the base trade. Oh no. Dark is so quick to pounce on the base trade, and he's so good in these scenarios. We know that Creator has bad memories of losing Game 5 at the World Championship to Dark. in a game where he did not recall to his last Nexus in time. A carrier rallies right through the Hydras. Another one looking like it's going to rally through. Big unforced errors coming out of Creator. I mean, yes, it's a hectic situation. It's understandable these mistakes are happening. But look, another carrier walks into the enemy units and dies. And this is something Creator cannot afford, but he's going to lose another one here if he's not careful. Dark's army is idling a little bit right now. That carrier is going to go down as well. Oh, no. So many carriers falling. Creator is going to lose all of his production of those lurkers. I mean, he's getting a lot of damage done to Dark, but it feels like Dark has the bank to bounce back from it a little better. 8 carriers versus 37 Hydras. So the Hydras can win that fight with the Ducks. There's no High Templar, there's no Storm. I mean, the Disruptors and the Colossus and the Archons might still turn this into a big victory, of course, for Creator, but it's definitely a dicey situation right now. I think it was probably the right call to go for the base trade. He had to go, but he never should have been caught out of position so badly in the first place, where Dark was the one to initiate the base trade. Colossus gets picked off. And, oh my god, Creator's very spread out right now. Uh-oh. Oh my god, this is what I'm talking about. Ducks! 1, 2, 3 carriers go down. Oh no, Creator is 100% in Tilt Town right now. Another Colossus falls. Dark is beating late game Protoss with Hydra Viper. This is not meant to happen. This is the sort of thing that pro gamers do to amateurs. And he's doing it to Creator right now. Creator's going to be pissed. It's not a good comp for this stage in the game. But Creator just could not get a 5th base, could not get Psystorm. And this base trade was so well initiated. Now, I think Dark has got, what, 50 Hydras, 8 Lurkers? Yeah, I mean, without High Templar, you don't have a counter to the Viper. Given enough time, the Vipers will abduct pretty much everything. There's a base mining in the top left. It does need to clear out this tech. Creator's trying to guard the Nexus. My god, that's so many Hydras. +2 air weapons did finish, as well as +1 plasma shields for Creator. Damn, man. Queen's in the main getting transfused. Dark is trying to get a kill. And he focuses down the Stalker. Tried to focus another weak one as well. You're not meant to get any kills there as Dark. But Dark, you can tell, just has a presence of mind right now to focus on all the little details, all the advantages that he can get for himself. And you can see he's trying to come in. He's looking for it. He's got double abduct available on 2 of these Vipers. And look at that. 1 carrier, 2 carriers. Disruptors way too far behind, abducting the Disruptors in, and that is a beautiful victory for Dark. I honestly thought Creator had that one in the bag, but Dark is a beast. Where there's a will, there's a way, and as always, he finds it. He ain't dead till you put him 6 feet under. This man in the bottom right, Dark, just comes back in that game with a base trade. Man, he was... I said when 7 carriers is hit, you feel, you feel your heart sink, you think you're done. Because it's so hard to win once they get to like 7 carriers, but yeah, no feedback. Unfortunately for Creator and base trade, I think Creator could have probably established a 5th base in that game, but Dark just did a very good job of staying in the aggressive seat, rotating his army around different aggressive positions to try to find a way in. Now Dark's gone for a classic Overlord into 14 hatch. Oh my lord. That's old school, baby. Yeah, 14 hatch, man. Wow, that's not a good build. It's so much better to just go 15 hatch, 15 pool to get your hatchery down. It's a way more efficient build order. In this case, I think his spawning pool probably ends up at a similar time to with a normal build, but yeah, no, it's like 4 seconds late. Okay. Yeah, his spawning pool's 4 seconds late from a normal 16 hatch, which means it's about 16 seconds late from a 15 hatch, 15 pool opening. So suboptimal opening for Dark here in on Gresfin. At least he doesn't get his expansion blocked, which I think is a good adjustment. But I really do feel Dark needs to get inspired and practice some new builds. And I think we know why he doesn't. Because the man could go to the military at any moment. He's looking at just playing the styles he's strongest at, using the same skill set he's been using for a couple of years. And that's why we haven't really seen a next evolution of Dark. It feels like the man finds a way to use outdated styles because he's just that good at StarCraft and outdated build orders and that sort of stuff. And it forever will impress me. I also really wonder if the Korean military is ever going to give him that final notice to go and report for duty, because it just keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed and postponed, and it feels like a year and a half, 2 years ago, Dark was meant to go, and He's been on the cusp of having a go ever since then, but he still keeps showing up to international LAN tournaments. They keep giving him extensions, allowing him to get visas or passports, which is very hard for Koreans who haven't done their military service. They only give you like 6-month passport at a time, which, guess what? If your passport expires in the next few months, a lot of places won't let you in. They won't let you fly. So, man, these guys have to just keep signing up for new passports over and over again. Oh my, Twilight Council for Creator. He's going to change it up. Hoping he can find some value with this. I'm kind of cheering for Creator because he's played such good defensive games, but you got to have Killer Instinct as well. That's what Creator's trying to show us here with this Twilight Council. Something a bit more aggressive, a little bit more dynamic. Robo goes down pretty quickly after the Twilight. Looks like a 4-gate Glaive Adept build. Could be an Archon drop. I know he has used an Archon drop occasionally, but no. Resonating Glaives does start up. 4-gate Glaives are pretty standard opening. Not as common these days, and Dark seems to have a good read. He saw Warp Gate start on time, he saw a Stalker, and he says Roach Horn second gas. And this is Dark's preferred response to Twilight. Basically, he wants to get 2 gases mining very early, get 3 roaches out the moment that Roach Horn's done, turn them all into Ravagers. And when you arrive with your first Adepts, he wants to just surround that with mass Zerglings, drop Biles on your Adepts, and basically win the game right there. He often will do like a 5-6 Ravager and 60-70 Zergling counterattack to kill the Protoss third. But guess what? There's a Dark Shrine. Now, you know what's funny is he built a Spore Crawler in the main. Dark is like, well, maybe he is still going sneaky Stargate and sneaking an Oracle around the edge of the map, so I'll build a Spore just in case. And that's going to help him a lot later when the Dark Templar show up. Unfortunately, of course, there's no reason for him to add one on the natural and third unless he suspects Dark Templar at this point. And actually, he does start up another Spore on the third. 2 Spore Crawlers is usually enough coverage to deal with the Dark Templar follow-up. Really nice play by Dark, but Creator could still snipe those Spore Crawlers down, remember. 4 gases are up behind this. Creator is coming across with 4 Adepts. His 4 gateways are all transformed right now, so he should be warping in another 4 on the front. I'd say 442 warp in. He was slightly slow on the 4th warp in, I guess. And the Lings are going for a big backstab right now. That's a bit dangerous, man. It's a lot of Lings to send across the map. He does not have that many at home, but I think he just is like, yeah, you're not going to commit. Not if I have Ravagers, committing is such a crazy move. I don't think he'll do it. And oh my god. Oh my god, Creator, you need to react fast. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, he does. Oh, another one. Okay, he goes for the double pylon wall. Dark could move some Lings into the gap to try and get that. Ravager Ling trying to defend. Adepts are thinking about finishing that, and they do finish that Shade. More than a match for those Zerglings, but you need to warp in more Adepts at home. He's warped Dark Templar in the main. Oh, he's going for broke, but that means he's going to lose all of his production. He's losing 2 gateways at home right now. Dark Templar are doing big damage to Dark, but, I mean, the problem is Creator's just going to crumble. He's only got 2 gateways left once that one goes down. Oh, and it is going to fall, as well as a lot of probes. The Dark Templar going ham. All 4 Dark Templar are still alive. Spore Crawler does get over there to the natural. 1 DT goes down. Main base falls for Dark, but Creator is in big trouble. Probes actually survive. He's still got 36 probes. He's ahead on mining. He's going to defend with Dark Templar. You know what? Creator, if he can get rid of that Spore Crawler and control here, this will be great. Oh, he loses another Dark Templar to that Bile. He thought he was out of range, but not quite. The Dark Templar will take out the Queens. No, they won't. Great Spore Crawler movement there. Roachhorn should be falling as well as Spawning Pool. But he's got to defend his natural. If he can't get a probe down there to wall off, he's going to be screwed. Dark Templar, Battery, Zealots trying to warp in. Uh-oh. Oh, Creator's in so much trouble. These Lings causing him big issues at this stage. Dark's going to start re-droning. It's a 2-base Dark. 2-base Zerg versus 2-base Protoss is not good, but if the wall-off goes down like this, it's A-okay. Definitely think Creator should have only warped in 2 or 3 Dark Templar on the front. Should have got 1 or 2 units at home or kept on walling off. Might have been the play. Just keep building extra layers of wall-off while handling it. Easier said than done, guys. It's very hard to pull that off under pressure. Probes going back to the natural. There's an Archon and an Immortal there, as well as 3 Zealots, kind of guarding that mineral line. Cybercore gets rebuilt. Still has 2 Dark Templar in the main base. And he could drop those in the natural if he wants, especially if he turns them into an Archon, could do some harassment. 3 Queens will help defend, though. Okay, looks like 2 gateway only for Creator. He's going to build 2 more gates. The Ravagers are here with the Zerglings. Oh me, oh my. Warp Prism would be great here. Oh, has to cancel those 2 gateways. Yeah, the Warp Prism's going to give him the ability to defend. Dark takes a new hatchery at the front. He starts a Spire, Roach Speed, and, of course, starts to rebuild his spawning pool. That looks like the Overseer will get in for the Scout. Archon drops quickly getting across the map. Creator knows he needs to do damage. He's got to slow Dark down. He can't let him drone right now. Dark's rebuilding the base there as well. He's going up to 4 bases. Dark building a few roaches as well as some drones. And there's just not enough production to really do a kill move for Creator. Creator had immediately started a 3rd. After reestablishing control, I think I'd be okay with a macro game for him. As it is, I think Dark is going to outscale him, and I just don't think there's a real answer to Mutas. Warp Prism Archon Micro can deal with Mutalisks, but it takes a lot of micro. It's incredibly hard to pull off. Only 400 gas in the bank, though. That's the one thing going for him. The gases are now mining on the natural and the 3rd base. 4th and main base both being rebuilt or built there. And it feels like seeing Immortals and Zealots and Archons going for a big round of Mutas is a no-brainer. 5 Mutas to start. Ling's going to poke around, see if they can find any units. For now, he's just hiding those Zerglings. Maybe waiting for Creator to move out with his attack. The Changeling sees the move out. The Ling's could backstab behind that if he wants to and cancel the 3rd. And yep, he's going to do it. The army's not there. Building more Mutas behind this as well as some Roaches. The army, oh, it slipped by him. Archon gets caught in the open. Big mistake there for Creator. Dark with a beautiful catch. Running circles around Creator in this game. Zealot goes down. Dark Templar does take out a few of these Zerglings. Immortal does get surrounded for a moment. But this is all just distracting so the Mutas can get across the map. Beautiful play. Archon drop in the main. You need that at home right now. That's your only defense. Oh... And he might just tap out, guys. Creator does start to pull his units across the map. The Archon's in the main. Not quite in range of those Roaches. He's going to have to pick up and pull back for now. Trying to warp in Stalkers with no blink. The Mutalisks laughing in Glaive Worm. And not a single Muta's gone down. Already taking out 11 probes. Denying almost all of the Protoss mining. It's basically 3 Archons, 4 Immortals. And I need to win right now. Meanwhile, we've got 20 Roaches with Roach Speed, 5 Ravagers, not to mention some Queens and the like. 2 Queens do get trapped by Force Field. The Immortal Archon, a very good army compositionally, but the numbers just might not be there. That's so many Roaches and Ravagers, and Dark is so exceptionally good at his micro. Bile spreading across the line. The Mutas have come back and cleaned up the Warp Prism, which means no more Warp-ins on the front, no micro as well. As obviously, the ability to pick up and drop Immortals and dodge Roach attacks is such a huge problem. Immortals pushing forward right now. Archon, Stalker, Immortal trying to see what they can get done. The Roach Ravager is going to drop some Biles. 1 Immortal has fallen. Dark's buying time for himself, and he's got way better income and production here. The barriers are set off on those Immortals by the Mutalisks. He's just going to 100% commit. Dark says, let's go. I take this army out. I win the game. And Dark, once again, turns around a series where his opponent looked like he had him dead to rights for a 2-0. Dark says, nah, man. Nah, mate. And he goes for a crazy Ling backstab in game 3. Gets the 2-1. GG, well played.